Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Brick Separators. First one in 2022. How you doing, Derek?
Wow. Doing pretty good.
Yeah.
2022 is starting off really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Does it feel like it though to you?
Yeah. Yeah, it does and it doesn't because, I think you're mentioning what I'm saying is this month in 2022 on my sales on all my platforms has got to be a record. It's
Yeah.
got to be. But yeah, it's still like everything just keeps churning back and forth because then I didn't buy stuff for a while and then I bought a ton of stuff the last few days and be like, oh yeah, that's what I'm doing. I found
I,
out.
I bring it up because like on a day-to-day basis for me, like looking at the number of orders I have and how quickly I can get those orders pulled, it just doesn't feel like, like a great month. Like it never feels like this awesome month. Maybe because I'm like trying to compare myself to other stores and how many orders they
Yeah.
have. And like I'm still way under all that. But when I look at the finances for this month, it's it's on par with August of last year, where that was my best year or best month of the year. So it's like I've got the highest profit. Like I'm my profit for this month is on par with the highest profit that I had last month. My sales are almost reached August. My orders are probably a little bit low. eBay is actually not doing as well
Hmm.
as it should for me, but it's not like dragging me down or anything. But
Right.
like it's a really good month this month. But yet when like I go day to day, it just doesn't feel like it, right? Like, and I'm wondering if like other sellers have that feeling, like at the end of the month they look at their finances and go, "Wow, this is a really great month," but like all through that month, it just didn't feel
Yeah.
like a good month. Like that's how it felt like to me all month. And like what me and you actually had a conversation. What was it, last week or no? It was earlier this week when
Yep.
we were doing something with the polling software, and I was complaining to you about how bad sales were. And
Yeah.
like it's funny, every time I complain to somebody about how bad my sales
Yep.
are, like it explodes. And I had like 9 orders by the end of the day. That day, it was crazy.
Yeah. You posted or I posted on Instagram showing all these orders. You're like, send some over here. And then the very next day you get a huge
Yeah,
burst of them.
can you keep doing that for me?
I didn't
That'd be
do
great.
anything. Yeah. I lowered
So
my sale price and then people left me. No.
it's funny though, like when I get a day like that, like that's my day, is just pulling orders. Right, but by the time I'm done
Yeah.
pulling orders, I have to go to work. Like I
Yeah.
have no time to do any uploading or anything. So it's like, ooh, do I want more orders or do I want to be able to put items in the store at the same time?
I know it's such a struggle every morning when I'm just trying to get the orders done so I can get to the fun stuff. That's just
Yeah.
how in my own mind, I just like keep on task, just get it done. Don't slack. Don't go on your phone to look at who's messaging you. I just don't do it, and I
It's
just
usually me anyways.
yeah yeah I just get it done, and then I take about 15 minutes after I pack orders and kind of just not depress or unpack it all, and then I get going with the day.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard too, because like when I have a day like that where I've pulled the orders for the day in the morning and then I have to go to work, I want to go back down after work to
Yep.
like do something. And that is like the most unproductive time for me,
Yeah.
is yeah, I just don't want to do anything. Like I'm usually watching videos or something. So
Right.
anyways, I brought up software. We met earlier this week, and so if people haven't watched our vlogs, I've written over the last 6 months or so. I've written a program for myself to help me be more efficient at pulling my orders for BrickLink and Brick Owl. This one program makes it so I don't have to go to the sites to pull these orders. And recently in December, I made it so that I didn't have to go to PayPal. I can use Pirate Ship and use the the import of
The
a spreadsheet
spreadsheet. Yep.
into that, and it's like really made it really efficient to do shipping. The only
Definitely.
thing left for me to make shipping more efficient is to get like a thermal printer, like
Yeah.
so I don't have to cut out the things for the small envelopes. But you got switched over to ShipStation. When was that? Earlier this month, wasn't
It
it?
was the very first of like in January, I think. Yeah, like the first week of January.
Thankfully, I never got moved over, but I knew it was coming. But I always wanted to use pirate ship, and like if you look at my
Yep.
vlogs, like even in the early summer, I'm like pirate ship's gonna make me faster. I just know it.
Yeah.
So I always was going down that route of doing that. But you came to me and was like, ShipStation is just crap. I can't use it. Like, help me out. And I'm like, I can get you set up on my
Yep.
software, right? And so we got you set up, and you've been vlogging about it, and
Yeah.
and
I gotta.
the interest that has garnered is a little bit eye opening. It's great to see that people really want to use that.
Yeah.
People keep asking me to use the software or how they can pay for the software, and letting you use it has been very eye opening to me in the sense that it's not ready. There's
Yeah.
couple of like I built it for myself in the way I run my store, and like it's not complete, right? And so like thing the two big gaps that I see right now are combined orders in Brick Owl. You keep running into that problem. I've turned it off because, and actually
Hmm.
you said this in your last vlog this week, how you don't feel like it's worth it because PayPal keeps taking the money.
Yeah. Right. The forever transaction fee. It's kind of ridiculous. Yeah.
I had that same problem, and somebody told me there's a combining fee. Like you can charge an extra combining fee on that
Oh,
second
right.
order. So look into that. I charged
Yeah.
50 cents extra, which covered the extra
There you go.
transaction cost. However, the last time I got a combined fee, I turned it off because it was the original order was under my $2 limit, so it was like charging an extra 50 cents, and then the extra order that they did put it over the $2, so it took off the extra 50 cents, but then added the 50 cents combining fee. So like basically that second order was free for me. Like giving it, I was basically giving. I'm like, you know what?
Wow.
I'm done with this. I just shut it off.
Yeah. Okay.
But back to the polling software, I'm working on it. I want to release it. I want to make it money on that, but there's still a lot of work to do on it. Right now it would only support US sellers. There's no support for currencies. There's no support for the combining orders. There's no support for, what was the other thing we were talking about? Oh, batched orders and
Yeah.
BrickLink,
The batch and BrickLink. Yep.
which I hopefully you're going to help me
Yeah. We'll figure it out.
help me set up an order to figure out how I can program that. So there's lots of things that are going to be needed to be looked at. And of course, I'm running a store. I'm also working full time. So like there's a lot of time issues there. So,
Yeah.
if you're watching this and you're interested in the software, just, be interested. Let me know that it looks great, and that'll keep me motivated to try to keep it out. And at some point in hopefully in the near future, I'll start asking for people to test and like, roll it out slowly to work out some of the bugs, and then we can go from there. What I'd like to do is build it into not just a browser like you're doing, where you have to
Yeah.
like run all this stuff, but run it as a self-contained window, like a application on your
Application. Yeah.
on your computer that's just basically pulling everything in. So that's where I'd like to take it, and that's where it is at the moment.
And it's great. It's been working great for me. So I appreciate you. I'm your guinea pig. So
I,
it's
I
helped me out a
love
lot.
I love watching your vlogs, because that's all it is basically like, a praise to me every time. Then
Yeah.
next week's or this week's vlogs, when you guys are watching it, hopefully you'll see the extra little stuff that I added in for Derek, just for Derek, which
Yeah. I
is
keep telling them, add this. You need to, take time away from your normal life and do this for me. I just
well,
give you
what was
suggestions.
your vlogs were like, you kept reordering your
Yeah.
address labels on your table. I'm like, that's like a quick thing we can
That was
solve. So,
awesome. That I don't have to do that anymore. It's so awesome.
and now I'm using it, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
What are we talking about today?
Oh, how every store is different. I don't know.
Yes, and how you
I don't
should
know.
run your
Something
store,
along those lines.
basically, and how you should run your store the way you want to run it. Isn't that the
Yeah.
line you always use in your vlogs?
Yeah, exactly. Because I feel like I'm offending people sometimes the way I'm strong against doing something a certain way.
Yeah.
And maybe some stores be like, well, I think it's better this way, but it's not I don't try to offend other stores. I just, show what works for me. And so yeah, every store does different things. That's what's great about BrickLink as a platform. You can You can have many different styles of stores. What I what I refer to is kind of like um BrickLink is full of different religious sects, right? It's like they all have their own ways. You just have to accept it. I don't
That's
know.
funny. That's funny the way you say that, because it's like what we want to talk about is actually consolidating lots versus unconsolidating lots. And I we bring this up because it seems like there's been a crusade over the last couple of weeks of unconsolidated lots and why it's better and why you should do that. And I spent quite a bit of time, like I actually was considering doing unconsolidated lots, and I came away with it. It's not for me in my store, and there was reasons why, but I wanted to really like sort of talk about this for other stores to really consider this right before you jump into unconsolidated lots, because I feel like once you go unconsolidated lots, going back, if you don't like it and you want to go back to consolidated lots, it's almost impossible. I feel like
Right.
it's like one way only, right? Like, anyways, let's start with what is unconsolidated lots, maybe for sellers that don't know. Do you want to explain unconsolidated lots?
Unconsolidated lots is, say you have I guess I'll just grab stuff. Say one day I upload this little handbag or whatever you want to call it, this friends thing, and then I get another one and I put it in drawer number 1, and then a few weeks later I find another one. I want to upload it, put it in drawer number 400. It's basically just not taking the second one and putting it with the first one. You're just putting it wherever you have space and not taking the time to put those other parts away together.
Hmm.
It shows on your BrickLink store that you have another extra lot for sale, but it's, you do, but it's the same item as you already have. But that's just basically what it is. So
And why would we do this? Why would a seller want to do this? What are some of the pros and cons for this?
I guess, speed, right?
Right.
Speed is one, when you, and then
For
talk
an
about having.
unconsolidated, so doing unconsolidated lots.
Right, right.
Yeah.
I mean, you could say it's speed. One thing I want to mention, when I first was researching, before I built my first section of the wall, is I was watching Bricksar's videos. It was in the later 2018 time. He did a video on remarks, and one thing I love about it is he was like doing an example with the London Bridge, whatever it's
Hmm.
called, and it's like over 1,000, or not 1,000, but it's hundreds of lots. And he kept saying, I wish I would have done it on a smaller set while he was recording it. It's like, it was funny. It's just the human element he brings. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Um, and I've said this before probably, but put the work in up front so that in the end, you know, you you don't have to plan for the time in the end so much, but you can plan it beforehand. So that was his point. A lot of it, he's like, put this stuff away in the drawers and mark it where it's at, things like that. So just putting the more work up front, it's more efficient in my mind than doing it where, and the people that unconsolidate may argue that it's not as much, it doesn't take as much time after the fact to pull two of the same items from two different locations. I don't
Right.
know.
Yeah.
I've never done it, so I don't know.
Yeah. 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 We'll get into more of that, but I let's go through some of the pros and cons, because I've got a you were laughing at me earlier because I actually built out a table
Yeah.
of pros and cons of all this. Um, and for consolidated lots, here are the pros, right? Like, I think from a customer experience, for their buying experience, it's like they want that one part in whatever condition they're looking for, new or used. They're going to just find one listing, right? And they're going to find one price. Whereas an unconsolidated, and I've had this happen to me, and when I was shopping, like I went to a store that was unconsolidated. I went to my wanted list, and page one, and I have my page set to 100 lots,
Yeah.
so that I want everything shown to me at once. It was 100 lots of blue legs. I was like, and every leg had a different price. It was like, it was like 53 cents to $5. And I was like, why the price difference? Are they different quantities? Do I what? And they weren't in order of price. I guess I could have sorted
You
it by
could, yeah.
price, but that would have sorted my entire wanted list too, right? So then everything would have been jumped around.
Right.
But like, why the price difference, right? Like, why was one really cheap, one was really expensive? Is there a quality concern with those? Is that why that was priced? I eventually gave up and just went back to search and did that. So for me, unconsolidated, like in my experience in shopping unconsolidated lot stores, it's a bad experience. And I know it doesn't translate to that in sales, because
Right.
I mean, you look at the tops this month on BrickLink, one of the pioneers of unconsolidated lots is up there on it's working for them, right? It does work for them. And I'm watching how many am I stores track page. I think I'm tracking two stores that are doing that, and they're like, yeah, they're beating me hands down.
Yeah, and one other thing though I want to mention about you're in the store, you go to your wanted list and you'll see all that. But if you actually go to just the wanted list page, when you pull up all the stores, the one thing that you might think that it'll say they had 70 or 100 pairs of blue legs, it's not going to say that they have 100 of those in the top search. They're not actually getting higher in that search, right?
Right. The search only shows you the cheapest pair of legs.
Right, when you're in that, and it doesn't like replicate all those lots, when
Right.
to bring them to the top. So do you think of that? It's like, oh, I'm going to put 10 listings of each of these different items. It doesn't help with that wanted list, just so you know. To think
Yeah.
that that's getting an advantage of in any way, it doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love how you say that, because like I'll find a store, even if they're not like even if they're consolidating lots, and they put maybe they do an extra lot for like a chewed up pair of legs or
Right.
something, right? And it's really cheap. That chewed up pair of legs is going to come up in my search,
Yep.
but not the other regularly priced
The one you want
pair.
to buy. All right.
The
Yeah, that's
one I
kind of
want to buy, yeah, I don't want to buy the cheat up. And so when I go into that store and I hit my wanted list and I find that part, I'm like, oh, it's chewed. I don't want that.
what I really wish BrickLink would do. It's not what I don't like about Brick Owl, but it's still a good thing, is that they have like new, good, and acceptable. What I
Yeah.
wish BrickLink would do is have just a one where you check, there's a checkbox where it says damaged, and you can filter out anything to come up that's damaged. That would be one of those things that would be game changing for not getting bad parts when you don't want to, right?
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
Getting a little bit on a tangent here, but maybe it's because we got burned so bad on
Oh,
damaged parts all the time. But
yeah.
it sort of related with the customer experience of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But like all those lots, like they didn't have any comments on quality. So like you have, like you're trying to judge, was the quality bad or not based on the price. And so like that to me like sets bad customer experience. How do I know what these prices mean
Right.
uh, from that? Um, Another consolidated pro, it's easier to audit your drawers or find lost parts, I think.
Yep.
um, I think, I mean, I've got a couple lost parts right now, and you had a lost part a couple weeks ago, which was fun to watch. um, I mean, I think it's easier, right? Like if you open our opening drawers and you find that part, that's the lost part, right? Like whereas
Right.
unconsolidated, it's I would say that part's basically lost forever, right? Like you're not gonna go searching drawers searching for that
Right.
lost part, like that. You're just not gonna do it.
Yep.
The drawer is full. The drawer is gonna be full of parts. You'd have to dump it out and scan the whole thing and put it back in, and then like, is that the right lot? Is you don't know, right? Like you just don't know. So like I would even search at that point for those lost parts.
Right. Give up.
Um, let's talk about some cons for consolidated. Do you have any other pros for consolidated lots?
Um, is it easier to pull orders? We talked about, and that's my opinion. Like I said,
Right.
I,
Yeah. Put the work up front, and then it becomes easier on the back end to pull those orders.
yeah,
You
it
can just
just
open a
seems
drawer and pull out the part, right? You don't have to dump it and look for it.
right. I mean, if somebody wants 100 one by one plates, and you have 10 different lots of 10, you got to go to 10 different drawers and get those.
Yeah.
Otherwise you go to one drawer and count on 100, you're done. I mean, it just seems simple to me that you would do that and not do it the other way around. Um, but then there's the argument, well, when you put them away, you got to keep going to that drawer. And that's where we go, and every store is different. Those big stores that don't consolidate, are unconsolidated, obviously they have to go a lot longer space to do this.
Yeah.
My used section is in a very small space, right? I keep it all together, so I plan that way because I don't want to do unconsolidated and have that huge amount of different parts, same parts, different places, all over the place.
We'll get into like where unconsolidated makes sense after like the pros and cons, because there is,
Right.
I think there is a use for it, and the
Yeah.
stores that are doing it, there's a common element amongst them that makes this right for them. But
Yeah.
we'll come back to that. If you're just a single person running your store, this is the kind of pros and cons you should be listening to, right? All right, so some cons for consolidated lots. Obviously, you need to walk around the store to put the parts away, right? Like if you're putting parts away that you already have in a drawer somewhere, you have to figure out what drawer that is, and there's lots of tools that are out there now that'll help you do that. But then you have to physically go to that drawer or take that drawer and physically bring it to the part and put that part away. So that's somewhat time consuming. I don't think it's that time consuming because you still have to put the drawers away. Even if you like pull all the drawers off the wall and you're like putting all the parts away, you still need
Right.
to put those drawers away. So I don't think it like, I know that's like one of the big pros that unconsolidated lot sellers are saying is like, hey, I don't need to walk around the store. And maybe on a bigger store with like a warehouse, yeah, that could really be a big thing. But like on our small space sort of stores, I don't think that's a big consideration that you should need to worry about.
Right. Definitely not.
What
um,
about like if when you're consolidating and you go to put a part away and you don't have enough room for that, what's the task that you need to do there?
well, there's a couple options. You can actually have more than one remark, drawer listed in your single consolidated lot, right? So you can, comma and put the next drawer in and fill up a second drawer, which is kind of the same as being unconsolidated, just doesn't show it in BrickLink that way as far
Right.
as
Yeah.
adding an extra lot. But typically what I would always do is just, if I have a larger drawer, just I have to update that remark. And yeah, it's annoying. You got to do it. There's room for error there. Um, but it's just part of the process and to keep them together.
And
I
it's
don't,
time consuming too, right? Like
yeah, a little bit time.
yeah,
Yep.
you've got to pull that up in BrickLink. You've got to type it all out, and then you've got to sync it. You've got to make sure that Brick Owl knows where that goes.
Yeah,
So that
definitely.
another time consuming thing that you need to do and you need to have multiple size drawers to be able to handle different quantities. So like I have, what do I have? I have four different sizes. I have the small drawers like you've got all around you right there. Then
Yep.
I've got the bigger size drawers, which I can see behind you as well. And then I've got shoe boxes, which is probably right to your right. And then got like Sterlite drawers that I can hold really big things if I need to.
Yep.
So I haven't had a need to go bigger than that. So that's good. Actually, I've had bolt holes that just sit on a shelf because I have no
Yeah.
drawers that will fit that. But yeah, I mean, like there's a stage, right? Like that of going up, and I don't think right now I haven't had a quantity issue where it has to have gone past a shoebox size. So that's been good.
Right.
Um,
Yeah. And as your store gets larger, you find that you need larger storage. It's just, you just have so many of the same part that's not selling. Maybe that's a key to lower the price.
yeah.
I don't know.
All right, so let's talk about some pros of unconsolidated lots. I've already said it's quicker to put parts away in an empty drawer, right? Like so, let's take used parts. Like this really comes into play with used parts, right? Like
Right.
you're cataloging a part. You've got like a series of drawers sitting next to you. Okay, I've identified that part. Let me just put it into the first drawer. that's sitting next to me what has room, type it in, go on to the next part, put it in. So that's quicker, right? Like you just don't have to think about where it needs to go. You just put it into the next available spot
Right.
that has space that's sitting next to you. Whereas me and maybe you, I don't know. Actually, I don't know how you do this, but for me, when I do it, I catalog it, but I don't put a remark in, and then I move it over to my cart, and that's when I decide whether or not to you know what drawer it needs to go to or where it needs to go. So I'll bring it over, and then my brick store has all of the parts, and I've consolidated the file. So like I've run it against my store inventory,
Right.
and I've pulled in all of the remarks. And so I'll pick up a part. I'll see if it has a remark. If it does, I'll go put it away and bring it back. If it doesn't have a remark, then I just find the first open drawer that I have sitting next to me. And if it fills up half a drawer, I'll put it into the divider. If it fills up the whole drawer, I'll just put it away. So that's how I do that. It's
Yeah.
fairly quickly, but unconsolidated, it's just like just throw it next to you and then put like you're maybe putting like half a dozen drawers away.
Right. I think the best pro to unconsolidated is if you really want to, if you like can't break it away from daily life, and you can take a couple drawers into the bathroom and list in the bathroom.
I hope you're just doing browns and reddish browns.
No, but really, you could take a bunch of drawers outside, do anywhere in your house, and obviously the sorry.
I didn't know this conversation was going in the toilet, but there we go. It just went in the toilet.
Oh, we need a trailer, right? Anyway, I'd love to go. My idea of sorting outside on a sunny day is there, and if you want to list a bunch of used parts that are ready to go, you can take it all outside and throw whatever drawer you have out there, bring it all back in, put it right away. You don't have to worry about putting it wherever it should go. Just there is a speed element to it. I do definitely get that, and especially for you're handing out work to other people, you just give them 10 empty drawers and fill these up with these parts, bring them back, and you just throw them right into your wall and upload the file, and you're good to go.
Yeah. I think another pro to unconsolidated lots is you don't need to move parts when quality outgrows the drawer. You just start putting, just create a new lot and start putting those parts in a different drawer. So you
Right.
don't have to move. I don't think you ever need to worry about moving parts there. Once it's in that drawer, it's not going to outgrow it.
Yep.
All right, let's talk about cons. Any more pros there that you've got?
No.
Okay.
I don't really have any pros for it. That's just me, because I have my own way.
Yeah.
I see how it can be good.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like me never wanting to use Brick Store, and now I'm using it. What happened?
What did happen?
I don't know.
We'll have to have that conversation. All right, so let's talk about cons on consolidated lots. We've had this one, the customer experience. I think it's a poor customer experience, but for those that are doing it, it's not a deal breaker for their customers. But both of me and you have abandoned carts on consolidated lot stores. So
yeah, multiple times.
I think you will lose customers, but then at the end of the day, I think people that really want those parts are gonna do the work through your store to find what they're looking for at the price that they want. So like you got to weigh those options. I think if you have a lot of variety and a lot of lots, consolidated lots, and there's a way you can figure out what your consolidated lots are in Brick Store. You just pull down your store inventory and then can select everything, and I think consolidate items, and then you can get that consolidated lot number. If you have like over 10,000 lots, I think you're going to be fine. If you're under that, I think you might want to consider like the experience of shopping on your store.
Right, definitely.
So we've also talked about this next con a little bit as well is you said put up Brickstar's advice of put the work up front so that when you're pulling orders in the back end,
Right.
you're potentially going to pull more lots when orders are placed.
Definitely.
Due to like, what if I wanted 100, like if you had 100 lots of legs that all had one item, and I wanted 100 lots, or I wanted 100 quantity of legs, I'd have to go through each lot and put that in the cart. Again, bad customer experience. But then you, as the store owner, would have to go around your store and pull that 100, open up a drawer, find that leg, put in with the order 100 times. So like, there's that potential. Like, hey, you're not putting the work up front, but now you've got to put the work up front in the back end. So,
And that seems like it'd be a lot more work than putting it in up front to me, but I guess you're running to that same drawer 100 times prior to put all those away. I don't know.
yeah,
Is
that's
it a
true.
wash? Is it really taking more one way or the other? I don't know.
Yeah. Again, I go back to the customer experience.
Yeah,
and
that should be the tipping point, right?
right, like if I wanted 100 legs that has on a store that has 100 lots of one quantity, I'm not going to go through that work to do that.
And
So
here's something else about it. If you're looking on your wanted list for
you're
100
only going to
legs,
see one.
yeah,
Yeah,
you're
not
not
going
going
to
to
see
see
the
that
quantity.
store actually has
Yeah.
100. That's true.
Yeah. So that's our pros and cons for that. Let's talk about where this makes sense, because it makes sense in certain scenarios. So I was looking, like a lot of discussion happened about this a couple weeks ago, and I was really like, why are people talking about this? Why is there such a crusade on unconsolidated lots? And I realized there's a common element amongst all these sellers that do unconsolidated lots and really sort of speak to the virtue of unconsolidated lots. And that common element is they all hire external contractors to do their sorting, and some of them doing cataloging for them. And I see that is where that makes sense for them, right?
Right.
For me, that's the time consuming part, right? Like doing sorting into a category, and then the second sort, the third sort, potentially the fifth sort, to get to the point where I can catalog that item and then put it away. And like that putting away part for me is just, it's just like a small step in the bigger picture of the entire workload there. But for stores that are hiring that stuff out, and you get basically the entire catalog back at once, you want to put that away quickly, right? And
Yeah.
get that uploaded. So there's a couple different ways to do that. You can get the parts back, catalog them real quick, and put them away as quickly as possible in unconsolidated lots. Or some sellers are hiring a different contractor to actually do that cataloging for them, and they give them like 60 drawers and say, here, just put them away for me, and then they just put the drawers back onto the wall and then upload them. And like, yeah, that makes total sense when you've got external contractors that are doing a lot of the heavy lifting for you. You want to put that away. You're not putting any work up front, so
Yep.
yeah, might as well do the work in the back end to
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
yeah. So like, you're able to, and this is where I think the benefit really outweighs anything. When you're hiring the contractors, you're able to do a lot more work, right? Because you're um, we have this saying in development work, the mythical man month, right? Like, you
Mhm.
can't hire more developers to get work done faster, but that's not true in sorting Lego, right? You can
Yeah.
hire more contractors to get more
Oh
stuff
yeah.
uploaded quicker. The only thing that's going to slow you down is putting it away. And so if you can make putting it away faster, like unconsolidated lots, yeah, that's gonna push your business and grow your business quickly. But when you don't have those, I don't see the benefit of unconsolidated lots. Do you?
Right. No, because I have in my mind the way I do it, and for my store, I don't see any reason I would do that other than me wanting to not be down here and listing items, right? But I've never gotten to that point. Summertime, maybe this year I might try it. And I would probably just add a second lot. I wouldn't come down here and try to put it away where it goes. I thought of just having a chart of just writing the drawer number down and putting that part where, in that spot and doing it, coming down, putting those away where I know I already have them. I don't know, but that's the only thing I can see myself doing it without having external people helping me.
The thing that I think is different from you and the stores they're doing consolidated lots, you're doing set part outs, right? So you have everything structured for you.
Yeah.
Where unconsolidated lot sellers are doing a lot more bulk lot sorting. And that's where like really becomes key, right? Like you don't have that structure of, the set being given to you, and then you're just, finding the right drawers based on that. You've got to identify that part. You've got to then find that part in the catalog. Usually brick store is the right tool for that. And then, okay, now that you've did all that, how do you find the remarks of where that goes? Like, yeah, it's a tedious process when you're like doing bulk uploading. I thought you were getting there when you built that sort of used wall sorting around to your right there.
Yeah, but that's the thing that has when something gets full, I just do a couple a day. You know what I mean? I'm still not even at the point where I can actually spend time sorting used bulk. It's like,
yeah,
it's so far away. It seems like.
So you say that, right? But what if you hired your help when they're not there on, what is it, Wednesday or Thursday?
Wednesday, yeah.
Yeah. What if like Thursday through Tuesday you sent home like some bulk Lego to them? Then how would you put it away? Like how would you deal with that when you brought it back to you? I'm not saying like unconsolidated lots would be the answer for you, but like you would have to go through that process of figuring out how to do that efficiently.
Well, yeah, that's something I mean, I would just bring it to the wall and have them put it away in the drawer as it goes in. And then if it's full, give it to me.
Yeah, there you go.
That's first job of the day.
Yeah. I mean, if your contractor comes back and is in the physical space, yeah, you can have them put it away.
Yeah.
So I guess the contractors is like, I think the key thing, right? Like that's the common element amongst all these sellers that are doing unconsolidated lots. So like before you consider going unconsolidated, like hopefully you consider these pros and cons, and also consider that like I think once you go unconsolidated, it's going to be really hard for you to go back. I don't even know how you would go back. Well, what you said, do a fire sale and start over, right?
I don't know. You just I mean, I had that in my mind many times the last few years, and it's in my mind again sometime because I have a big debt paying goal to go get through. And if that comes to the point where I can do it in like 3 months, I know I can do it. I might just do that and just sell out my store. I don't know.
Yeah, it keeps coming back to my mind. There's a Crusade out there on consolidated lots, and yeah, it just keeps coming in my, like I keep thinking about it. Is this the right thing? And I know Justin and Brick and a Bucket on their live stream the other day, we're talking about how they're considering doing unconsolidated, and I think they've potentially landed on only doing it for their used stuff. And guess what? They're hiring that out and using contractors. So that's why it would make sense for them.
And I did hear there's some API limits as well on it, possibly if you get too many lots. I don't know much about that, but
I heard Great Brick Lab talking about how they might hit that pretty soon.
Mm-hmm.
But through Brick Freedom, like Brick Freedom said, hey, you might hit some API limits because of how many lots you have.
Wow.
So I think the only other reason to consider unconsolidated lots is the space. If you're like in a 4 foot by 4 foot room,
you better be in a straitjacket.
It might, yeah. Or you're married, one of the two. Yeah, I mean, unconsolidated lots might be the right thing to look at, because you can jam a lot more parts into one drawer versus, like what I'm doing, two lots in a drawer potentially. And I've got quite a bit of space to grow still. So, and I don't know, you've got quite a bit of space.
Yeah, but you can still consolidate your lots and put 20 lots in a drawer. You don't have to have them
There's that too.
unconsolidated. So
Yeah.
just
And
fill up the drawer if that's got room.
then
I don't know.
moving that drawer becomes even more
Yeah,
of a
that
con.
becomes like a little task
Yeah.
in itself, right? Yeah.
I did that early on because I was when I first started my store, I was using like a quarter of my base or my bedroom. And so like I think if the maximum I got was like maybe 20 acromills units up there, and that had like 1,000 drawers. There's only so many lots you can put on the wall until you
Yep.
have to like combine lots together. But I did that for quite a while until I moved to here, and then I started just like spreading them out. And I've been dealing for the last 2 years now of resorting those drawers and put spreading them out into the drawers as well. And that's a
Yeah.
very time consuming thing.
Yeah.
And I only do it when the drawer, I can't close the drawer and I need to move it.
Yeah, for sure. Even if I can close it 3/4 of the way, I might leave it. Sometimes I do.
It's amazing how we all do that, isn't it? All right, so we want to hear what you think. Obviously, everybody's going to have opinions, and we have our opinions. And we're not saying like, "Hey, you need to do consolidated." You need to. We're just saying we're just trying to give you the pros and cons. Tell us what we missed in pros and cons. There, we want to hear that in the comments. We want to hear what's working for you. This is what's working for us, and until I got a army of contractors, I don't think I'm
Yeah.
gonna worry about consolidating unconsolidated lots. I'll just keep consolidating because I don't think it's that much extra time for me. So
Right. And yeah, and it just seems like you could run out of space faster, in my opinion, because you have to buy more storage units, in my opinion, because you're giving out more and more drawers. You know, I
how do
always
you
say
how do you flip a drawer too? Like how do you know when a drawer is ready to add more parts to it? Like
yeah,
that's an
I
for
do
me.
that with my used section. I just gotta have to pull a bunch and look at them, but you can't
Mm,
send those drawers out to somebody, if there's something in them,
right.
but you can move that stuff into one that has more room and make one empty, but that's time consuming, right? But you always say, just tell yourself you're not in the storage business, um, that's where having sales with. I've had people say, oh, I'm running out of room. Yeah, because I am totally blessed with the room I have down here. You have a lot of room too. We're blessed
Yeah.
with that. But a lot of people in other countries say, my basement's as big as their flat, their whole flat. And I just say, well, at a certain point, if you are bursting at the seams with inventory, you just got to have that sale and just let it go. And then you'll
Yeah.
get more room. You'll make more money back and maybe move into a bigger place. I don't know, but it's just in your mind, like, I'm not in the storage business. If the profit is there, get rid of it.
Yeah. I actually did that last couple of weeks. I with the new update from Brick Store, I was able to put on sale tiered by year, um,
Nice.
the parts that haven't sold. So if it hasn't sold in a year, it was 50% off. If it hasn't sold
Wow.
in 2 years, it's 20% off, and then 25, and then I think that's as far as I went because that's as old as my store was. But I've seen a number of those parts now start going out the door, and it's been great. And I'm flipping those drawers now, so, and being able to fill it with new parts. And I don't feel bad that I've sold it at a discount either because they weren't selling before.
Right.
So yeah,
Right. That's definitely a good way to look at it. Like, I was going to look at my date added. I think, okay, so I have less than 25 items from 2017 in my store. And I opened it in, late 2016, September 2016. So
and
um,
all those parts don't have a sold date.
they might have sold before, some of the pieces in the lots. Is that what you're saying?
I'm just
But
saying maybe the lot never emptied out and you kept adding to it.
no, I never keep retain them. So I looked at it. I have less than 75 items that are in my store that from before I built that wall.
Mm-hmm.
So those things got to go.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to change that price. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's a great way of doing it. Just throw them on sale, and I was doing it in BrickLink, and it was tedious because I had like 2,000 lots that were needed to be at sale, and you have to do it one at a time. You have to go into each lot and put it on sale. Where Brick Store, I can do a group, like I can filter down based on now the new added and last sold columns, and figure out, okay, these I listed in 2017, but the last one hasn't sold till 2020, so I'll put it on 15% off sale,
There you go.
and do that. So it's been great. It's been it's helped jumpstart a little bit of sales for me as well. Still doesn't feel like a good month, but it's been a good month.
I know what you mean, but I can't complain. I got two 1099s with 6 figures on them this from last year. Now it's the first time that's ever happened. So
that's awesome.
I was just like eye-opening, like, wow.
I'm waiting for mine to come. So
I should have it in PayPal. You should have it in PayPal by now.
I think that's a show. What do you think?
Yeah, it was awesome. I think it's good conversations, and I'm hoping people learn some stuff from this. And I think it's something to think about. Definitely. I learned a lot just from your research and your notes, like just, not learn, but just thought different ways, a different way to look at it.
Yeah.
I never really looked at it as a terrible thing, but I always looked at it as like, I just don't want to do that. I don't want to be in that boat.
I always looked at it in the purview of how would it affect me in my store, right? And I don't knock the people that do it, and I look at their growth, and I look at the number of sales. I'm going to throw David West out there, because that kid is impressing the hell out of me, right? Like he's been he's been in this business for a year and a half, and he has 2,200 orders already. So he's like doubled the number of orders in a year and a half as of me. He's almost on par for number of orders per day as you are doing. He's like maybe 2 or 3 orders below you. And he's just like, pulling in bulk lots, and he's got this small group of contractors that he can't keep up with. So like he's doing all the right things, but he's like the biggest crusader in terms of unconsolidated lots, and it's working for him, and he's doing great, and he's going to be able to live off of this. And I'm envious of what he's doing, and I just use him right now. I'm using him as a motivator of keeping uploaded, and trying to get my, again, it was a good month this month, but he makes it feel like a bad month.
Yeah.
So there you go. So David West, there you go. There's your props. Great job in doing what you're doing, and you're keeping us all motivated. So
yeah, and I challenge you then, Ralph. You got to get some contractors. Just try it, see what happens.
Yeah, it's either contractors or sell this software and make
there you go.
Move to Silicon Valley and not be able to hire anybody. There you go.
All right, great stuff.
All right, well, with that, I think that's a show, and we'll see you next time.